You might want to buckle up, baby.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy T-Lo Man coming at you with a new Swagger video. And in today's video, we got something special for y'all. It's actually going to be the first round of the new season of 3v3. And I'm really looking forward to kicking this off with a win and go 12-0. That's the goal of this season, go 12-0 and really just tear things up. But before we get started with anything, I just got to say this video is going to be a little bit different than what you guys are used to. Usually you guys are used to me going in there with my offense against their defense and just tearing things up, but it's not going to be like that for this video. This video is going to be before I even said defense. We're going to actually take a look at how I scout my opponent, find out their weaknesses, find out their strengths, and really just tailor an offense and defense dependent on those, and really just come up with a good game plan to get the dub. So hopefully you guys find this helpful, and hopefully you guys can really just implement some of the stuff I'm going to show you guys in your own scouting process, in your own GACs. But before we get started with the video, I just want to say thank you guys so much. Right now, at the time of this recording, we're at 284 subs. So big shout out to you guys. It seems like every day we're growing a little bit closer to that goal of 1K subs. So if you guys can, if you're not subbed already, hit that sub button, trying to hit 1K. That'll be a big help. And also, if you guys can hit that like button, that'd be much appreciated. But all right, let's do this and let's get into the video. All right, right off the rip, when it comes to scouting, I'm going to click on my opponent's name. This is going to give me a lot of information right here, right off the rip. First off, we're looking at the arena ranking. That's going to tell me their crystal income and what type of player I'm dealing with. If it's both 1-1 or if they're in the upper echelons of arena, it may not be their payout, but they're still up there. It's going to let me know that their crystal income is pretty high and they probably have a lot to deal with. Also, if you look right there under the Grand Arena Championship rankings, that's going to let you know how many lifetime banners a person has. So a good indicator of how good a person is their lifetime banners. If they're above a 600k mark when it comes to lifetime banners, you know you're dealing with a decent player. But if you see somebody with a 700k lifetime banners, let me tell you, you ain't playing with no scrub out there. This person knows how to play GAC, and you better come with your A game. All right, and after you look at the initial page, I'm going to go into fleets, and what I'm looking for right here is looking how good are his fleets, and I'm going to scroll right to the bottom and I'm going to check his capital ships. Right here, I'm looking for two things. I'm looking for both get 2 ships. If I see both get 2 ships, I know I have the possibility of seeing both of them on defense. That's when we go to the GAC history and we check what their tendencies are. But I just want to double check if they even have it. Right here, I'm just scrolling down, seeing what type of ships we're dealing with, checking if their ships are fully starred, if their pilots are fully geared, and maybe even if they have 6-dot mods. Right here is just the scouting process, because a lot of times battles will come down to fleet, especially for those players that know they have the advantage. And I know myself, I don't have an advantage in fleets a lot of times, so it's very important that I take a look at this. All right, right here, after we get done taking a look at fleet, I'm going to hop into the characters. And right here, I'm looking for GLs. I want to see how many GLs he has and also what GLs he has. That's going to give me a lot of information right there. And it's also going to shape what I'm going to place on defense and offense. So right here, my opponent in this particular case only has 1 GL. So I do have the advantage on him, and he has SLKR. After you're done looking at those GLs, you want to see if they have key tunes. Usually they're on top. You're looking for Gas, you're looking for a Darth Revan, a Vader, a Malik, a Bastila. You're even looking for Watt. Characters that really just transcend teams and really can create problems, especially on the defensive end. After you're done taking a look at his characters on those top tiers, you're going to be taking a look at mods. Right here, we're going to look at SLKR. He's modded for offense, so that's going to give me a lot of information right there of what type of counters I can throw at him. If he was modded for health, for speed, it could change things. but in this case, he's modded for offense. We're also going to take a look at those key characters. For example, right here, I'm looking at Vader. I want to see if he meets that threshold of what a Vader needs to be. We're looking for that. Is he above 260? Does he have 100% potency? Does he have 75% crit chance? That's going to let me know a lot about his Vader, and especially if he's going to take it on offense, if he can do counters, as well as how good of a counter it can pull off. After that, after you're done taking a look at all those top tier teams, I'm not going to go through all of them, but right here we're going to look at speeds. And right here, this is very important, Darth Revan speeds, especially in 3v3. You need to take note of how fast that Darth Revan is, especially if you're going to go in there with a mirror match, or if you're going to go in there with a Vader counter. You got to check Bastila and Malik. A lot of importance is put on speed, especially in 3v3, also in 5v5. But really important right here that you go into their speeds and see what characters are speedy, what characters are not, and if the character is properly modded or not properly modded. That's going to be a big help right there, and really just help you set a good offense and a good defense. And right here, we're obviously not going to take a look at all the speeds because we'd be here for a hot minute, and I ain't got that type of time, and I know you ain't got that type of time either. So a lot of times when you're looking at speeds, you want to go through all the characters. Like I said, those key characters as well, like a Hoda, like a C-3PO, a Thrawn, especially those characters that you're going to be seeing on defense. In your opinion, you want to check their speeds because those are the ones you're going to be facing. After you're done looking at speeds, what we're looking at is those B and C teams. A lot of times, especially in threes, it comes down to those B and C teams accidentally getting a hold. By doing that, it can really trip up your opponent or trip up yourself, so you want to be prepared as much as possible for those B and C teams. So right here, I'm looking for, do they have Traya? Do they have any team that can be really pest on defense, especially those funky teams that really just can be an annoyance, and if you don't have the right counters, can throw off your whole entire game. So we're looking at a deep dive of what characters they have and which ones they don't. All right, and after we take a manual deep dive into the roster, what I like doing is going to use a hotbot. And if you're not aware what hotbot is, it's a great tool. I'll give you the command right there for you guys can use it on your own opponents. All you have to do is type in that command as well as their allied code. And if you're not registered, you're going to have to register as well. But it gives you a nice clean picture that you can always reference back to when setting your offense and defense of the information that we already covered when you took that deep dive, as well as give you some new information like their mod game. You want to see what type of mods they're dealing with, if they have better mods than you, what's their average speeds, how many Zetas they had. It's also going to let you know what type of player you're dealing with. Are they more of an efficiency player, or do they like to go heavy on defense? It gives you a lot of information in a picture that you can always refer back to. It's really clean. If you guys haven't done this, I really recommend you guys go use Hotbot every match of GAC. It's a really great tool. If you guys want to, you guys can join the Discord on their own server, the Hotbot server. It's a really good channel, or you can join mine. Mine is going to be in the description, so you can just click that link. I have Hotbot on my Discord, so you can take advantage there. All right, and after we take a look at our Hotbot, we're going to look into the Swogga.gg page, GAC history of our opponent. And when you're going to search for your opponent's GG page, all you really have to do is type in their in-game name and then put Swogga right after it, and it should pop up. Sometimes you're going to run into people where it does not pop up, and the way you can get around that is typing in the guild name. You type in the guild name, and after that you're going to put Swogga, and it should pop in the guild Swogga.gg page. Then you're going to look for your opponent, and that'll direct you to his GAC history. After you get their GAC history, you're going to take a deep dive into what they like to do. You're going to see, I'm looking at their 5v5, and I know it's 3v3 season right now. You're probably like, why are you looking at 5v5? A lot of times, players love to transfer what they do in 5v5 to their 3v3 season. Usually, you're not going to see players go from an efficiency player all the way to a throw everything on defense. It usually doesn't work like that. But you're going to notice that I'm seeing a trend already when it comes to my opponents, Swogga.gg. They love throwing everything on offense and only having a little bit on defense. Right here, you're going to notice we can only go 3 weeks back in GAC. history. No, that's a lie. Right there after GAC equals, you can change it back a couple weeks. It was at 54. I'm going to change it to 49. And all of a sudden we're running 3v3 seasons right here. And you're going to notice my opponent's doing the exact same thing, the exact same tendencies he did in 5v5. He's taking his SLKR on defense. He's taking his Darth Revan. He's taking all his meta teams on defense and getting those full clears. He's also taking a Get 2 ship. He loves leaving Malevolence on defense and taking Negotiator for offense. So I'm taking note of what my opponent does. I'm taking a note of what his tendencies are. So when I go to set my own defense, I already know the type of player he is, the type of plays that he likes to go against, the type of counters. So what my goal is to stop him, make him feel uncomfortable, and really just put teams out there, which I like to call flex teams. Those teams that make you stretch your roster to a point where you're not comfortable and you have the possibility of losing. All right, and obviously I scout him a little bit further, but to make the video a little bit shorter, we're not going to be taking a look at that. We already get a picture of what my opponent likes to do. So knowing what we know, I'm going to start off with Fleet and set that defense first. I know my opponent has a trend when he sets his defense and offense. He likes setting the Negotiator for offense and setting the Malevolence for defense. So what I'm going to do is mirror that. I'm going to put my Malevolence on defense and put it also an Empire Fleet that might give him trouble if he gets to my Fleet zone. Okay, so after we set Fleet, we're going to be setting some characters, and usually I like to start off with GLs. Sometimes I'm not going to put GLs on defense, and that's really dependent if I'm outgunned or if I'm out GL'd and I need as much offense firepower as possible to really get through my opponent's defense. But in this case, I do have the advantage, so I'm going to really press that and really put pressure onto my opponent. All right, there I put the Ray team with the Queel and IG-11. That's going to give him a little bit of trouble, but I'm pretty sure he's probably going to get through it with his SLKR. Next up, I decide to use the CLS, C-3PO, and Chewpio team. When going through my opponent's roster, I noticed that he did not have Traya developed as high, and also JTR, and those two are really good counters to that team, and he does not have them available, so I figured he would struggle with that team. I also put Darth Revan out there because that can be a problem even in a mirror match, and especially knowing that my opponent does not have Malak, I know that that could be a problem as well. And with that, we already set our bottom zone, and in my opinion, that's the best zone to put some heavy defense. In 5v5s, you want to protect the top zone because that's where the money makers are. That's where the points come from. But in 3v3s, you're looking at the bottom two zones. That's where you can get the most bang for your buck. So by putting hard defense down there and preventing them from clearing the bottom, you're really setting yourself up for success. That's why I put my GLs and the teams that I think they're really going to struggle with on defense. Okay, with the bottom zone set, what I'm doing right here is taking a look at the top zone. And in the top zone, I'm looking for those flex squads, those squads that really just stretch the roster thin of my opponent to where he can't do everything and he's gonna make a mistake. So right here I'm looking at teams like this Hux squad with First Order Trooper as well as Sith Trooper. That can be a problem if you don't come in there with enough offense. And what I'm doing right here is not putting unbeatable squads like you're seeing right there with the GG and weak teams. There are teams that are going to strip banners as well as really just invite him to go top first. And that's what I want. I want to shepherd him to go top first and focus his attention right there. And hopefully he overcommits to one of these teams so when he tries to go for the bottom, he's not going to have enough firepower to clear those two bottom zones. And if he goes for the bottom two zones, he's not going to have enough firepower to really just beat these flex squads, these squads that seem easy but are going to give him problems like this Asajj Ventress, that Newt and Zombie squad. If that team gets ahead of you, it's a problem. Same thing with this Count Dooku, Mother Talzin, and GBA. If that team gets ahead of you and starts putting in some damage and you don't really respect it for what it is, you're going to to end up losing, and that's what we're banking on. And then what I'm doing right here, a lot of times you're going to notice people go heavy in the bottom zone and then they go real weak in the back zone. I don't like doing that because that can give an opportunity for your opponent to win on efficiency, especially if you're giving them teams like Karf and you're giving them teams that are G11, G10. You're just asking for you to lose if you don't bank on your opponent clearing you. And even though I highly doubt my opponent's going to clear me, I want to set him enough of a hard defense to where it's going to be a struggle after he gets through that bottom zone. And you're really going to notice right here, I put my Padme squad. It's not the best 3v3 squad. I'm telling you, it's not the best on defense, but I guarantee you if they did a lot of their offense squads on that first zone, there's no way they're going to get through that Padme zone. And same thing with that tricky little old Ben squad. It's another squad just like that Count Dooku and Mother Talzin squad, where if you underestimate it, it's going to tear you up. So really excited with the defense that I set for my opponent. I'm pretty sure he's going to struggle with that bottom zone if he commits to that first. Really just inviting him to go top and giving me the easy dub. All right, and these were the results of our scouting. You're going to notice that he did beat my Rey in one shot, so I know he uses SLKR right there. At times, especially with an offensive Rey, you can still get a hold, even with a GL, but in this case, it did not work out that way. But still, I'm happy with the results right here, because you're going to notice I knew he was going to struggle with the SCLS squad, and he definitely did. And that was 8 holds right there. So by scouting, I knew that squad was going to be a problem for him. Definitely was. Same thing with DR. Like I said, even in the mirror match, it can be a problem, especially with the way I have it modded, and it definitely did. It took him 4 attacks to get through it, and kudos to my opponent, especially being outgunned. He did manage to clear that bottom zone, but this is why we still set a solid defense in that back zone. You don't want to fall into the trap where you put cheese in that back zone and you just open yourself up for a loss. Right there, you're going to see that he did attack. He attacked that old Ben squad. You're going to see Droideka actually held it out for the win, and after that, he completely gave up. He didn't attack anymore in that bottom zone. He didn't attack at all in the top zone, and we get the dub. So really just shows you right there the power of scouting. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thought it was pretty fun doing it, and it was a good idea for you guys to see the process and behind the curtains of how it all goes down. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, sub to the channel if you're not subbed already, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace.